Hello, can you hear me now? Can somebody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Ah, yeah, I can see my. Can you hear me though? Can you still not hear me? Can you hear me now? Yes, we have won. There's something about today's message for sure. I can tell you. So, living your authentic life, I was talking about David, right? That if right in the comment below, if you're a Christian, who is your favorite character in the Bible apart from Jesus Christ? Who is your favorite character? For those who know me, David is my favorite character. Is my favorite. And the reason he's my favorite is that his lifestyle is so inspirational, it's so motivational that it assures me that really there's nothing we do that can stop our destiny in God except we ourselves. David, for the most part, was a very, very intelligent, nice guy kind of person, had a very close relationship with God, a worshiper par excellence. But like all human beings, he made a major blunder in life. And the reason he did that was because he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. So we're talking about the authentic you. And he probably didn't have what do you call it, an accountability partner. But let's not dive too deep into the whys. We know that he did. He messed up. He messed up big time, right? He committed two awful sins, right? And guess whose lineage Jesus Christ came from? David. So I get intrigued by him, like, David? Really? What is the secret of David? He was authentic to a fault. Let me show you something that some of you might know from the Bible, right? About what David did and how he earned my respect. First Samuel chapter 17. I'm going to go all the way down. It's a long story, but let's go all the way down to where what's his name? King Saul offered David the armor, his own armor as a king, which of course is meant to protect the king, right, in battle, and he wanted to give David because David volunteered, right? The Bible says in the days of God's power, yeah, the people of God will volunteer. They'll be ready and willing, Psalm 110. But here, let me read it from 26. Then David spoke to the men who stood by him, saying, what shall be done for the man who kills this Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God? And the people answered him in this manner, saying, so shall it be done for the man who kills him. Let's jump way back. His brother Eliab in verse 28 tried to discourage him, and David just virtually, turned around and asked the question again, what is the reward? He was very sure he was going to bring down Goliath. Why? Because he was full of the presence of God. He was very authentic. He was coming right from the bush. No formal education, no military training in war, no combatant, skills, just simply being filled with God. Authenticity starts with knowing who you are and whose you are. I'll repeat that again. The journey towards authenticity starts with who you are and whose you are. So he knew who he was. He was a child of God. He was a carrier of God's presence. His very life depended on it in the wilderness. And he definitely knew who God was, right? And what he had as credentials for that, as proof for that, was laughable, right? So because Paul, let me read it. I want to read it. I want to read it. I'm trying to jump. Okay, let's start from 32. Then David said to Saul, which is King Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Talking about Goliath, right? Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine. And Saul said to David, you are not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for you are a youth, and he is a man of war from his youth. See, intimidation, discouragement. 34. Let's see what David said. But David said to Saul, your servant used to keep his father's sheep, and when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went out after it and I struck it and delivered the lamb from its mouth. And when it arose against me, I caught it by its beard and struck and killed it. 36. Your servant has killed both lion and bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, seeing he has defied the armies of the living God. Moreover, David said, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. That's laughable. Like, how are you comparing an animal to this man of war whose size is enough to intimidate anyone? But David was full of himself and in God and God in him. He was very authentic. He didn't have any false air. He didn't try to lie about what might, sound interesting to King Saul. He simply said who he was, what he's done. Even though in the technology, I can imagine the laughter if it was our days. And oh, can you go against? Think about any of the world's power and say, yes, in the power of my God, I'm able to go against him or go against them because I fought the other time with someone who was bullying me and I was able to bring them down. It's laughable, right? It doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, wow, how gullible can you be? That's why I said I like him, because most times he comes off as gullible, but he is full of the presence of God. And it's the presence of your creator and knowledge of it, knowledge of who you are and whose you are, that makes us authentic. Anything outside of that brings fear, pretense, lying, arrogance, and all of these things, which we'll look at now very briefly. And Saul said to David, go and the Lord be with you. 38. So Saul clothed David with his armor. That's where I'm going. And he put a bronze helmet on his head. He also clothed him with a coat of mail, which is elegant, which is sophisticated, which is a huge honor, which is expensive, right? See what David said in 39. David fastened his sword to his armor and tried to walk, for he had not tested them. And David said to Saul, I cannot walk with this, for I have not tested them. So David took them off. Then he took his staff in his hand and he chose for himself 5 smooth stones. So that's where I was going. To the journey towards authenticity, which sets you free to be your utmost best for God and for humanity, starts with a knowledge of who you are and whose you are. That's the number one thing. You need to know who you are. Lack of knowledge brings abuse. Lack of knowledge of purpose even, brings disrespect. So you disrespect yourself. You disrespect your God who put his spirit in you, or the peculiar gifts in you and talent and skills in you. But because you're very fixed on trying to impress people, right? Because that was King Saul's major thing. When I was praying and thinking about the opening for tonight, I sensed very strongly somebody needed to be free from the fear of men, the fear of missing out. They call it the FOMO. You need to be fair of that, and the only to be free of that, the only way you can be free of the fear of man and expose yourself to your ultimate goals in life or your ultimate assignment in life is by recognizing who you are again and whose you are. Once you recognize that, then you need to lose the fear, let it go, because just like David here. So he respectfully took on the armor of King Saul and he just said, you know what, this is not me, this is not how I've won in the past, right? Even though God always has more creative ways for us to win different battles, but you still need to stay in the security and confidence of what God has done in the past. Now he may choose to use a different way. This current battle you're going through right now may need a different route or a different skill, but you surely have what it takes in you because of your past victory. And how do I know you've had past victory? Because you're alive and watching me today. Right? So being your authentic self starts right. That's the very, very foundational level, that in order for me to be authentic, I need to know who I am. What are the gifts and talents that I have in life? What are the goals? What are the things that makes me feel alive? Is it just helping people, cooking for people? You never know what your talent and your skill and your purpose is in life until you start to befriend yourself. I tell people, fall in love with yourself, date yourself, pamper yourself. Everything you want someone else to do to you, a husband, a wife, children, everybody that you're looking to love you, you start to do it for yourself, and then you begin to send out that energy of, this is who I am, this is me. You see what David did? He took respectfully from the king the armor of the king, right? And he put it on and he said, it's too heavy, it's not me. It's not me. So somebody, you need to examine your life. How have you complicated your journey or slowed down even your journey by putting on the weight of things that you believe will impress other people, right? Usually the champions in life are those who have shut the door on human opinion, at least at the very pivotal stages of their discovery or their invention and all of that. They almost all have the same story of a particular time they were in a cocoon, or they were in an isolation or isolated place, which was where they discovered who they are, and they decided to be true to who they are. Other people may have brought suggestions. I read a lot of biography and autobiography of high achievers, and it's almost always a given that you will see in their life that when they got into the crucible of leadership, crucible is a very hot, dirty, dry place, right? When they got to the crucible, it was usually the decision they needed to make is, am I going to stand up and fight, for what I know I can achieve or I can have, Or am I going to just, wallow in pity or fear of other people or fear of failure and, not make sense of my destiny? Meanwhile, other people are waiting for your manifestation. Today, you're watching me on Instagram, on YouTube, or Facebook. You know what? Because some people sat down in their crucible and decided these things can be possible, and they made it possible. The world is waiting for the authentic you. They might laugh at you when you start being authentic. Like, that's why I used the word, it was laughable, right? When Mark Zuckerberg came up with Facebook and all of that with his colleagues, it sounded laughable because nobody had seen that quite like that before. Think about every innovation on earth. It came from men and women who were secure in the armor they have, or in the skills they have, or in the dreams they have, in the vision they have. What is your vision? That's the most important thing. You need to discover that. That's under, loving yourself, knowing who you are, and then knowing whose you are. Where did you come from? The knowledge of who you are and whose you are gives you incredible confidence, even when the whole world goes against you. At the point, it was like that for David. Even his very men at some point wanted to stone him, right? But guess who did not die before his time? It was David. Guess who died on his bed in a good old age? David. Guess who God made a covenant with, that up until as long as the earth remains, you will always have someone on the throne? David, in spite of his weaknesses. So you're watching me today and you feel like, you've missed all your chances in life. It's a lie. You feel like, oh, what's my age? See where I am. See where my friends are. See where my old schoolmates are. It's a lie. You could get right up today and decide, I want to get to know myself. I want to know the gifts and the callings inside of me. I want to know the skills that I have. Maybe you even know it and you're looking down on it. David did not look down on his sling. He didn't look down on the stone. He didn't look down on the name of the Lord, because that's what he said. That's just basically his credentials. He said, the Lord my God delivered me from the lion and the bear. It sounds laughable in the physical, but that's his authentic self. That's his superpower. Your superpower will always be found in the place of authenticity. Once you're still trying to copy others, or you get intimidated by what others are doing and you want to do the same, rather than settling down. See, I took 3 months away to pray and really think deeply and, get to the point of that place that God really wants me to be for the next level of this platform, and see what we have today. I could have continued the love and relationships. It was beautiful. We had it for 4 years, incredible, but I sensed there was something more that we needed to be doing. And I went into 3 months of hiatus, right? I went into 3 months of break and told all of you to hang in there. We're definitely going to come back, but repackage and revamp and see what we have. If you're already being blessed today, say, yes, I've gotten something, and let me know below what you got. Let me know. I'm going to be closing. This is the introductory pilot edition, but I wanted you to have a feel of what we're going to be looking at on this platform. We'll talk about finances. I'll bring guests to talk to us, experts about finances, how to, save, how to invest, how to build wealth. We're going to be looking at all of that. I'm going to bring health experts. I'm going to be bringing some relationship expert colleagues, right, in collaboration to look at different various areas of topics that we can explore. And please do something for me. Invite as many as you can. Invite as many as you can, please. Let's bring hope now. Let's spread this word into the atmosphere and also around the world. Please drop below what you got from today's broadcast. So the authentic you, I wrote that down. The authentic you lives in the present. You don't fantasize about the future. Yes, do have a future goal, but realistically assess yourself right now. Be your own best friend. Nobody's going to love you the way you will love you. Only you understand truly what you need and what makes you tick, right? And God put that in you so that there can be that self-preservation and pursuit of purpose, so that you have no rest until you discover who you are. That's why it's like that. And so, of course, the best bet, I tell people, how else can you know something except through the person who created it, the manufacturer, right? So get to know God. If you get to know God and you're close to God, He's able to show you, the gifts in you that you probably were looking down or still looking down. David didn't look down on his sling. His sling was laughable to the, very trained army of King Saul that he went there. He was in the midst of the army, his brother. He took food to his older brother. He was not considered to be able to do anything significant by his family. So his older brother and Eliab insulted him and said, "Get out. I know the pride or arrogance of your heart," right? David didn't take it too personal. He just faced the other person and said, please, what's the reward for whoever brings down this Goliath? There's a Goliath that the world is running away from, and the solution is you. My prayer for you is that after today, you get to sit down, get to know yourself. Stop waiting for someone to come save you. Nobody's coming to save you except the Lord Jesus Christ. If you don't know him yet as your personal Lord and Savior, he already paid the price. Get to know him and get to discover your glorious destiny. I'm going to read some of your comments. Shaun said, yes, from Manchester. Thanks for joining. Lena says, from Zurich, my Pastor Rookie, thanks. Now I can hear you clearly. The devil is a lie. I've never had audio issues, right, on this platform, but yeah, it is well. Know who you are, whose you are, and be you. That's true. That's the number one tip of being authentic. Emily says, yes, yes. The authentic me, knowing who I am and whose I am, gives me the confidence. That's right, people. That's right. You need to be authentic. In order to achieve anything, you need to be accepting yourself. Be in acceptance. Be the number one lover of yourself. That's where your well-being begins, right? Which is what we're looking at holistically on this platform. Your well-being, not just your relationships, but your entire being, your entire life, your financial life, your mental health. I'm going to be bringing experts in that area as well. So guys, let's keep it real. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep the message going. This is an introductory edition. I wanted you guys to have a feel of what's coming in the next weeks. Next weekend, I'm going to be in the UK. I will do my best to bring you this edition live. We want to have it every Sunday at 7 p.m. when everybody's back from church, getting ready for the new week, so you can get some nuggets and inspiration for the new week, right? Don't you think that's a great idea? It's just 30 minutes broadcast. So please spread the word. Let's do this together. It's not my thing. It's our thing, the Hope Now family around the world. Together, let's bring hope now. And so I release you into the glorious new week ahead of you. Go and win. Go and get to know yourself. Be a solution provider to the world, because the world is waiting for you. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your comments. I'll go after the live broadcast into the comment section and interact with you. But please share this episode. See you next weekend. Love you guys.